All right, so let's go ahead and get started with some warm-up flashcards for today. So I'm just going to show these to you, and you can pause and practice the treble clef melody and the bass clef melody and then the rhythms they have to follow. So I'm just going to show you each one of these, and you pause and practice. Here's one. Two. And three. And last one. Great, so go through and practice those as you feel is helpful for you and beneficial for your practice. And we'll go ahead and jump right in to our pages in the book for today. So we're going to be getting started on page 70, learning about eighth notes. So eighth notes are a little bit intimidating for some people, but they're really not any harder than playing any of the rhythms that we've done so far. So eighth notes are just the beat divided in half. So if our quarter note is 1, the eighth note is half of that length. So it's going to be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now the thing is that eighth notes don't have to be fast. A lot of people think that eighth notes are fast by default, but they're only faster than the quarter note. So however fast you set your quarter note pace, your eighth notes are just going to be half that. So if you set your quarter note as 1, 2, 3, 4, then your eighth notes are going to be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and really, really fast. But if your quarter note is 1, 2, then your eighth notes are going to be 1 and 2, and they're not going to be fast at all. So let's go through and clap and count the 2 rhythm exercises that they have listed for us on page 70. So starting with the one that's in 3/4, go ahead and count out loud. 1, ready, go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and. So it really helps to keep consistent if you practice counting the ands, the 1 and 2 and 3 and, even when you have quarter notes or even a longer note value, because notice what can easily happen if you don't do that. So if I count 1 and 2 and 3 and 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1 and 2 and 3 and. My rhythm was all over the place. That was not consistent at all. But if I keep a very consistent pace while I'm counting, it makes it much easier to stay accurate when I'm counting very steadily. So here is the 4/4 example. So here we go. 1, 2, ready, go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and. Great. So let's go ahead, and if you need a little bit more practice with that, you can always make use of just some rhythm activities that you can find online, and some rhythm reading activities that I'll provide for you guys in the packet for this week, in the files for this week. So if you want any extra practice with that, just let me know, and I'm always happy to give you a little bit more if you want a little bit of extra work for practicing the rhythms. So let's go ahead and take a look at page 71, French Minuet. So we'll start out by talking about what's our hand position for this song. So we're starting with our right hand finger 5 on G. Then we look for where our left hand comes in, and we've got finger 1 on B for the left hand. So you've got that hand position where the thumbs are right next to each other. Right hand thumb on C, left hand thumb on B. And then the thing to notice here, a couple of places to note, are the long notes. So we've got a quarter note at the end of bar 4 with the left hand, that G. I want to just note that. And then our last note is a dotted half note. 3 full counts. Then the last measure, the penultimate measure, the measure before the last measure, is a little bit tricky because we have those 2 notes in the left hand playing along with the notes in the right hand. So what I want you to do is draw a line that connects which notes coincide, which notes you play together. So you play the E with the G and the D with the B. If you keep that in mind, it'll make it really easy. Let's actually start right there at that second to last measure. So again, when you practice songs, don't feel like you have to start from the beginning and go through to the end. You can start with what we call hardest first. This is sort of the hardest place in the song, and it's actually a great idea to go ahead and just give that a try, very first thing, get some practice out of the way with that. So let's go ahead and try from the very beginning, or from just that measure right there. Let's try just the right hand alone. And I'm going to call out the finger numbers for this, okay? So just that second to last measure into the last measure, those last 2. 1, ready, go. 3, 5, 4, 3, 2, 3, 1. And you can certainly do that slower as well if you need to. I'll do it one more time. 3, 5, 4, 3, 2, 3, 1. And here's my left hand. I'm going to practice the left hand alone, even though that seems kind of silly. 3, 1, rest. 2, 3. Again. Ready, go. 3, 1, rest. Now here's another tip that you can do. You don't have to be a great singer. I'm certainly not to be able to do this. I'm going to sing the notes of the right hand while I play the left hand. And I can just sing on the finger numbers or the note names or whatever you want to do. But to get practice coordinating those 2 parts without actually having to play them with both hands yet, so here's how it's going to go. Ready, go. 3, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. No. 3, 5, 4, 3, 2, 3, 1. I can try it again. Ready, go. 3, 5, 4, 3, 2, 3, 1. You could just do it on da 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 da. Da 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 da. And that's it. And that will really, really help you to practice the coordination of playing both hands together. Let's go ahead and try it with both hands now. 3, 5, 4, 3, 2, 3, 1. And again. 3, 5, 4, 3, 2, 3, 1. Perfect. So I'm going to go through now and play through the whole thing with both hands. Now that we've worked on that last little part a little bit, you want to practice that until you feel confident with that section. Another thing that you might want to go through and do is mark the patterns of steps and skips. So mark where your skips are in this one. That's just one strategy you could do if you're finding any trouble with the notes here, would be to just mark your skips in the music. And go through and do that throughout the whole song. You could easily do that if you find that that's helpful to notice kind of how the pattern works. And then here we go, and I'll count out loud, and then I'll play one time the teacher accompaniment so you can play along if you wish. 1, ready, go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 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 1 and 2 and go. Here is the teacher accompaniment for you to play along if you want to. It's very, very simple. 1, ready, go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 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 1 and 2 and 3. There we go. So you can go ahead and continue to practice that one until you've got it learned. And then we'll go ahead and turn the page to morning. Now, a couple of things to go ahead and note with this one. We start out in a C's, both thumbs on C position for those first 2 lines. So that I would call that our A section. And if we go over to the second page, starting in measure 17, starting in the bottom 2 lines, we go back to that same hand position. And you'll also notice the music right here is very similar. So we're going to call that A, called A prime, the little A with the number 1, just to show that these are a little tiny bit different there at the end. But this is basically the same section, same hand position right here with both hands. And then starting in measure 9, the top of the page, second page, we're going to be, this is our B section, and we're going to be in a C 5-finger scale with both hands there, okay? Also notice the ties in those left-hand chords. So you might want to mark those ties in a way that makes sense for you. I like to X out the last one just to show me that I keep holding. So those are the things that I would go ahead and mark, the sections that are similar and different, the places where we have that different hand position, and then the ties. Then I would go through and let's just clap together the rhythm of the first page, okay? So we're just going to count it out loud together. 1, ready, go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 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 1 and 2 and rest and. So you can see that we have those 8th notes that come in at the end of measure 4, and we just want to be really careful about not playing those either too slow or too fast. So it shouldn't be that would be too slow. They're basically the same speed, but we also don't want it to be that would be too fast. So we want to make sure that they are evenly counted, and the best way to do that is to count your 1 and 2 and 3 and from the very beginning to make sure that's really consistent there. So let's go ahead and try this one through from the very beginning, and I'll just demonstrate and be careful for the hand position change going into page 73. So here's this one from the beginning, starting both thumbs on C. 1, ready, go. And jump to a C position. Don't forget the ties. So another little activity that you could do is to take the top two lines, measures 9 through 16, on the second page, and try transposing to a G position, A position, D position, whatever you want, really, for just those two lines. So that would be a great practice exercise for you to do is choose one key and try transposing just those first two lines of this song as a little extra practice for you. So here we go. This is the teacher duet, and I'll go ahead and play this for you, and then you can try putting it all together. 1, ready, go. There we go. Keep up the great work on that one. And we'll go ahead and move on to taps and happy birthday. So the point of these two is to teach us two new concepts, the upbeat or pickup note, and then also the fermata. So an upbeat or pickup note is basically where we just have an incomplete measure at the beginning. So in each of these, we just have one beat that comes in before the first full measure. And the rule is that if you have an incomplete measure at the beginning, you just have to make up for it at the end. So taps is in 4/4. We have one beat here at the beginning because it's 2 eighth notes, which equals one beat. And so then our last measure is only 3 beats. Happy birthday we have is in 3/4. We have one beat at the beginning, so our last measure is 2 beats. It doesn't really make that big of a difference. You count it exactly the same. And then a fermata is this little symbol, this little half circle with a dot. Just means that we hold this note longer than usual, really for kind of dramatic effect. So you can hold it really as long as you think sounds good. Usually, about twice the length is kind of what people do, but it really is up to you. It's pretty subjective. So I'm just going to go through each of these pretty quickly because these ones are fairly simple. These aren't part of, an assignment or anything. And I'm just going to play through both of these so that you can hear them, and then I'll also show the teacher accompaniment. So the important thing to notice is that these start out in a right hand on C, left hand on B position, but then for the last line, switches to a C position with both hands, and that applies to both taps and happy birthday. So starts in a right hand thumb on C, left hand thumb on B, but when we get to that last line, it switches to a C position in both hands. Okay, so I'll go ahead and play taps for you and count this one through. 1, ready, go. 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 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 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and remember just 3 beats on that one for the last one. So here's the teacher part. You're going to come in on the 2 G's on the day is the pickup before I do. So here we go. 1, ready, go. Day is 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. 1, same thing, go ahead and do the same with happy birthday. 1, 2, 3, ready, go. 3 and 1 and 2 and 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 big pause. Take this opportunity to switch hand positions. 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and awesome. And then here is the teacher part. Same thing, you'll come in on the first 2 notes that pick up before my part starts. 1, 2, 3, ready, go. 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 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 and 1 and 2 and wonderful. Very, very nice job. So give those both a quick practice. These are a little bit of kind of bonus songs, just a little bit for your extra practice this week. And we'll go ahead and move on to the next ones. And these 2 are ones that I'll have you focus on just a little bit more for your practice this week. So we have English folk song and gavotte. And these both are in our C position with both hands to start with. And with the English folk song, you have the C blocked chord, which is our root, 3rd, 5th notes, C, E, G, playing all together. Go ahead and circle your ties, or mark however you feel is useful for you. Mark the ties in the left hand there. And then go ahead and fill in those questions right at the top. So write the 3 letter names used in this piece. And then in measure 3 does the right hand melody begin on the 3rd of the chord? So which 3 measures does the right hand melody begin on the 3rd? And then we're going to go ahead and give this one a try from the very beginning. This is one that I would recommend maybe practicing hands separately first. So we'll go ahead and try just our right hand and then just the left hand and then putting the hands together. So here we go, C position with both hands. 1, ready, go. E, G, C, E, rest, rest, rest. C, E, G, E, G, C, E, rest, rest, rest. C, rest, rest, rest. C, E, G, rest, rest, rest. C, E, G, E, G, C, E, rest, rest, rest. C, and here's the left hand. Ready, go. C, 4, 2, 3, tie, 2, 3, G, 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 rest, rest, rest. C, 4, hold, and tie, 2, 3, G, 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 rest, rest, rest. G, 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 rest, rest, rest. G, 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 rest, rest, rest. C, chord tie, 2, hold, 2, 3. G, 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 rest, rest, rest. Here it is with both hands. Ready, go. Wonderful. So I would like for you to practice this one until you feel like you have it really confident, and then try playing this one in a G position, D position, A position. You can try all three if you want, but definitely go ahead and give this one a transposition to any key that you feel comfortable giving it a try. And then we'll go ahead and move on to Gavotte. So for this one, we're learning about the C sus4 chord. The sus4 is short for suspended fourth. So it uses the fourth note, which is F, in place of the third note, which is E. To give a little bit more tension to this chord, it doesn't sound quite as stable as our C chord with C, E, G. So what I want you to go through is, if you feel like it would be beneficial, maybe circle the different chords and use one color for the C chord, one color for the C sus4 chord, and then let's go ahead and try just our right hand. Let's try just our left hand alone first from the very beginning, and then we'll try just our right hand and then putting them all together. So here we go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and ready, go. 3 and 4 and C sus4, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and rest and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and rest and 4 and rest and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and great. So another strategy that you could use for practicing this left hand would be to say your chords: C, C sus4, 3. Another strategy that you could use would be to say the chords and note names out loud. So like C, C sus4, E, F, G, G, F. That could be helpful, or to say your finger numbers out loud. 1, 3, 5, 1, 2, 5, 3, 2, 1, 1, 2. Those could both be helpful ways for you to practice your left hand alone. And then we'll go ahead and practice the right hand. I'll say the counts out loud, but again, a great way to go through and practice this one would be to also say the note names out loud and see the finger numbers. 1 and ready, go. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 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 perfect. And then we'll go ahead and put this together with both hands. Ready, go. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 1, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 This is another one. Go through and definitely practice this, transposing this one into a few other keys to give yourself that extra practice, especially with the chords. It's a really, really helpful one to try doing some transposition with. And then we'll go ahead and look over at page 78 and 79. We're learning the inner ledger line note B. So basically this is how we write B if we want to play it with our right hand. We write it down here below C so that you can see it still floating up near the treble clef. So it's still showing it as part of the treble clef, and that means we're going to play it with the right hand. And this is just how we write it when we want to sort of connect it to those, the other right hand notes of the other part of the treble clef melody. And there's basically two ways for us to play that when we're in a C position, for example. We can stretch our thumb down, extend the thumb to play the ledger line note B, which would be the example that we have here, the first one, right hand warm up. So I would start just in a C position with all of my fingers, and then I'm going to start with my finger 2 on D. Ready, go. D on 2, B 1, D 2, B 1. D2, B3, D2, B1, D2. So basically all you're doing is you're just reaching your thumb down to the B right there. But what if I'm playing C already? So I'm playing C with my thumb. Then I will cross my finger 2 over top of my thumb to play that lower B. So it would go like this. Ready, go. C1, B2 over C1, B2 over C1, B2, C1, B2, E3. So go ahead and give a try on both of those warm-up activities until you feel very comfortable playing B using both of those techniques. So on Simple Gifts, we have on measure 4, the thumb extending down for B. So you want to put that in a little box right there. We have the thumb extending down, so we play D with finger 2 and then B with finger 1. And then in measure 5, we have our little crossover pattern. So we have 1 on C, 2 on B, 1 on C, then back to 2 on D right there. And this one we also have our C chord and our C sus4 chord. So I will go ahead and play this song for you. We're in a C position with both hands. And we'll go ahead and give this one a try with both hands. If you need to practice it hands separately, absolutely go for it. That would be a great practice strategy to try, just trying it hands separately first. But I'll go through and just play with both hands, playing the entire thing from beginning to end, and then I'll play the teacher part, and I'll go ahead and count this. 1 and 2 and ready, go. 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 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 rest. Great. So go ahead and practice that until you feel confident, and then we'll add the teacher part. So you come in with your pickup on the tis the with the 2 G's before my part comes in. 1 and 2 and ready, go. 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 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 off. Beautiful job. So the last thing that we'll look at in our unit for this week will be our technique activity on page 80. So we have some rhythm drills here. These are super, super helpful for working on your 8th note counting. So I'll go ahead and just play through these. Notice that each one has a repeat. So you'll repeat the right-hand ones an octave higher, the left-hand ones an octave lower. And you'll do that for all 3 of these exercises. And you'll do them hands separately. And if you want to try them hands together, go for it. But definitely just try them hands separately first. That's all you need to do. So here we go with the right hand, the number 1. 1 and 2 and 3 and ready, go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Repeat. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 left hand. Here we go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Repeat. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Here is number 2. 1, 2, ready, go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Repeat. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 left hand. Here we go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Repeat. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 last one. Right hand, go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Repeat. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 the left hand. Here we go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Repeat. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 great job. So that is what what you have for your practice for this week, the songs that you're going to go over. And then going over to page 81, we have a little theory page that you can fill out, going over some things with the 8-note rhythms and also the new chords that we've learned. So as always, if you have any questions or concerns or want something demonstrated a little bit more thoroughly, please feel free to reach out to me, and I'm happy to help with whatever you need. So everyone, have a great week, happy practicing, and see you next time.
So here are the 5-finger patterns for this week, again found on page 176 to 177 in your book. And this week we're going to be doing A flat and D flat. And these groups are black, black, white, black, 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 white, black, black. So they follow that exact same pattern of black keys and white keys with white key in the middle. We're going to go ahead and start with A flat, and I'll say the note names, finger numbers, and then give you one example totally clean of me talking. 1, 2, ready, go. A flat, B flat, C, D flat, E flat, D flat, C, B flat, A flat, C, E flat, C, A flat, and finger numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 3, 5, 3, 1, and all together. Here it is all alone. And here is D flat. Ready, go. D flat, E flat, F, G flat, A flat, D flat, F, E flat, D flat, F, A flat, F, D flat, and finger numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 3, 5, 3, 1, and all together and all alone. Great, and then that is the 5-finger patterns that we have for this week.